Ancestral ceramics. Brazilian ceramics between tradition and modernity. Thank you for your interest in this short film, which will explain how the artwork you will discover tells the story of peoples and nations. Since the dawn of time, mankind has produced utensils for producing, preserving, and using food. Since the domestication of fire, argil and clay have been manipulated and burned to become ceramics. What sets the works in our collection apart from the common is that they are produced by peoples who have been decimated or tortured by the process of colonization over the century. What you probably don't know is how their ancestors lived, their habits, their characteristics. But if you could have a piece in your home representing this way of life, the customs of your ancestors, what value would this work of art have in your eyes? While his hands mix the clay, the ceramist accesses the unconscious and the ancestral, so performing these pieces preserves history. The story is told by the hands that work the clay. Archaeological finds have recognized the importance of ceramics for humanity since the Neolithic era. Centuries have passed, and the contemporary ceramics can be produced both industrially and by hand. It is important to note here that the works exhibited in our catalog are exclusively made by hand, from the beginning to the end of their conception. The richness of detail that a work of ceramics presents and represents makes it unique, and above all, helps to preserve the history of a people. It is in the state of Pará, in the north of the country, that we find the oldest trace of Brazilian ceramics, precisely in the 19th century. Due to the abundance and diversity of raw materials such as clay and argil found on the Brazilian soil, each village, each ethnic group had and until today a system of techniques and traditions concerning handling and producing of different types of ceramics. In the Amazon region, Tapajonica ceramics tell the story of its people, their beliefs, their rituals, through pieces, jugs, pots, anthropomorphic statues representing human and animal figures. These sturdy objects made it easier for ancient people to store water and food. The types of clay, sand, and the way in which the finishes were done made it possible to understand and identify to each groups the pieces belonged. Each artist, community, or culture has their preferences for clay sculpturing techniques. However, there is a process that is common to all, called burning. According to their final characteristics, the pieces can be classified as earthenware, porcelain, or stoneware. According to their final characteristics, the pieces can be classified as earthenware, porcelain, or stoneware. Burning can be carried out in a wood fire, electric, gas, oil, or, more primitively, coal fire oven. The fire will reach a temperature between 800 and 1280 Celsius degrees, depending on the result desired by the artist. To give you an idea, a piece of ceramic burned at 1200 Celsius degrees will spend about 12 hours in a gas oven to be ready. This is because the oven temperature must rise slowly. If the artist chooses to burn in a wood fire oven, the process will be even slower. The same work will take about 16 hours to be ready. On the other hand, the ceramic made in Xingu, state of Pará, experienced its peak of production during the months of drought, when the raw material at the time of its extraction possesses the coloring and the conditions considered ideal by the Indians. The finishes of the ceramic sculpture are rich in detail. They can be coated with natural tints, charcoals, varnishes, natural pigments. This means that the composition of the clay, the origin of the raw materials, the temperature and the burning time, the type of combustion directly influence the result of the works. Artistic ceramics rescue the memory of peoples, allowing the public to dialogue with history, as well as with ancestrality. The works in our collection are viewed positively by critics for the excellence with which they unite art and technique. Our catalog counts on artists who preserve millennial traditions, as if they sought in the art of sculpturing contact with their ancestrality, acquiring Waro ceramics, or that of the Xingu people. Ceramic artists from Trucunhaém or from other regions exhibit here on the site makes you a guardian of history, a protector of the ancestral art of peoples struggling to preserve their memories and their representativeness.